Yeah, Wendy, she's had some concerns after a couple of instances at the place where her son attends this after school program. But she went to plug in his phone to charge it, and that's when she discovered what was going on between her 10-year-old and a worker here at this daycare, the Youth Life Center, that had more than crossed the line. And she's uncovered that relationship that had been brewing for likely weeks.
They hugged for a lengthy period of time.
Grace Shawelu thought something was off with a newer worker here at Youth Life Center on Valley Hill Road, but when she plugged in her son's phone,
her face was his screensaver on the phone, and it was a picture that she had taken of herself.
And she started digging.
I went through his text messages because that was the first thing that I thought. And her name was saved in his phone as Mommy. And it's a bunch of I love yous and what are you wearing?
She shared pictures of much of the concerning conversation between her son and the 24-year-old worker, and pictures like this one.
That's not a picture that you send to a 10-year-old. That's a picture that you send to your man.
She said the worker bought her son clothes, shoes, and even a gold chain. And Grace said when investigators came to her apartment, a Department of Family and Children's Services worker got her 10-year-old to reveal more.
He did say that this incident where she was rubbing his leg happened on the way back from the field trip.
We aren't using the worker's name or face because she is yet to be charged, and that's why Grace is outraged.
Had it been a situation where it was a little girl and a grown man, they would have locked him up on the spot with no questions until he was proven innocent.
I reached out to Youth Life Center, who sent a statement saying upon learning of these allegations, we took immediate action by notifying the appropriate authorities, going on to say we have terminated the employee for violations of standard operating procedures. Grace won't rest until that worker is charged.
Channel 2's Candace McCowan back out live with us from Clayton County. So, Candace, where does this case stand now?
Wendy, we reached out multiple times to Clayton County Police, and we have not heard back. We did hear back from DFAX, who says that they are looking into this case, but couldn't say much else because of privacy reasons. That mother says that her 10-year-old is just confused right now. Wendy?
And we can all understand why. This is all just very inappropriate, and I know you'll be following this one for us. Candace, thank you.
President.
So I'm back. Yeah, y'all seen the video and y'all see the title. So there's so many different ways I can attack this and so many different ways I can speak on this. I don't even really know where to start. But I guess I would start because it's so much wrong with this and so much like that's funny about this story. You know, it's not funny, you know, on a serious note, it's not funny, but the stuff that I'm about to break down about this happening is funny. But this took place in Georgia. I looked it up. I think they said, what was it, Charleston or Clarkson County or whatever, but this ended up happening in Georgia. So I know we like to always know where this stuff took place at. So, and it being in Georgia is also kind of funny also, which I'm going to get into. But first thing is first. So like you heard from the story, basically a 24-year-old daycare worker was dating, well, not even dating, but was talking to and acting like she was in a relationship with the 10-year-old. She saved her picture on his phone. She was sending them text messages, buying them stuff, saying that I love you. And then she was calling them her son on some, you know, some weird fantasy type stuff. So the couple of things I noticed and I want to point out about this video, and is that first is that at 10 years old, this kid's still in daycare. Like, I never heard of that. I always thought daycare was like for younger kids, like, you know, like under 5. I thought at 10 years old, you know, kids basically, well, they in school at that point. But I guess when they get out of school, but usually when they get out of school, the 10-year-old usually goes to somebody's house or a family member. Because I ain't gonna say a 10-year-old is really old enough to watch themselves. That's kind of dicey. I would kind of wait for a teenager, like I say, like a 13, 14-year-old. Because I'm trying to remember when I was 10. And I know when I was 10, I used to walk home from school. I'm not sure if I was ever home alone or watching myself, though. I can't really remember. So, I mean, that point is dicey. So I guess maybe after school, she still had to work or something, and daycare was the only place that would take her son. I don't know. I just never heard of no kids that old being in daycare before. You know, when we speak of daycare, we always think of the younger kids. So that was just something that I noticed off rip that was kind of different. But then also getting into it, so it's just crazy to me. Let's get right into it. So, why I find this story crazy is that a 24-year-old woman, like, and then you can see her, of course, because they blocked her out, but you can see her a little bit to tell, like, she don't look like you know, she's not overweight. You know, she looked like the typical, I'm not even gonna say hood, but she fit the basic archetype, sorry to say, for, a black woman, the weave, the colorful hair, and all of that type of stuff. Dressing like sexy red, she looking like one of them, like a sexy red type of chick. But I ain't gonna fully put that on her because we couldn't fully see her, but we was able to see her hair, and then they showed her like in a mini skirt or something she was sending to him, which is crazy to me. Cause it's like, so with her, if she looks decent, so it's like, my whole point is that there's plenty of men. I'm pretty sure that she could have got it she wanted. Like, like I'm pretty sure she could have had a lot of men, but it's either obviously she got a weird fetish or something like that, or like something is wrong with her mentally. And we always put this on men as being sick in the head and having like that paraphernalia mind, but women do have it too, as we see a story after story when it comes to teachers and stuff dealing with younger kids. And usually it's not this young, usually it'd be like a teenage boy with a teacher or something like that. But now we got a 10-year-old. So, this is something like, kind of different. Not, obviously this ain't the first time that this happened, but this is something that's kind of different. So obviously she got a weird mind. But then the reason why I brought up this being in Georgia that's funny is that, women always complaining about the men in Georgia and how a lot of the men is gay and a lot of men got wives, and like the pickings is bad in Georgia. So I'm like, is it this bad that women is forced to go to kids and teenagers and stuff? Like that's crazy to me, because that's what it's looking like. Like, you really couldn't get no man, like it wasn't no men available. And when I seen that this was in Georgia, I always remember what the women be saying about the men in Georgia. But obviously on the serious note, she got problems regardless with a 10-year-old, calling having her call saying that she's mommy, and like that type of stuff, and where then she buying the kids stuff, like like it's kind of crazy to me. And then especially a 10-year-old, like you can even go to the teenager, like you really like that's how it's something weird going on and something that's mentally wrong with her. But it just like that's just crazy for me for a 10-year-old. But then getting into what's the I guess the main problem with this, like the mother said at the end, is that, like they said, so far she haven't been charged. And this story, I think like a week or two old. I think it was like April the 11th. I've been had the story. I just haven't had time to do it. But if, like she said, it's that I don't know if she's been charged yet, but at the time she wasn't charged. So just like she said, if this was a man, a 24-year-old male, daycare worker with a 10-year-old girl, we know he would have been locked up, face blasted everywhere. They wouldn't have been talking about that. Oh, we can't show their face because they haven't been charged. They would have been charged and showing the man face. So obviously we know that that's the biggest problem and the biggest you know like the hypocrisy of everything, like that the fact that obviously men always get viewed worse than women in this situation. Because for years, this ain't nothing new. Women teachers been sleeping with students and stuff like that. Usually it's not this young, but that it usually happen underage. And then, rarely do the woman get ridiculed and looked down upon like how men is looked down upon. Like it's been a big man, I can't think of the word hypocritical. It's been a big I can't believe I can't think of this word double standard. Yeah, it's been a big double standard for the longest. You know, when the men do it, it's just the worst thing in the world. But when women do it, it gets swept under the rug. So I do give the mom props for saying that because that is the truth. Like, you know, it is crazy how it's looked down upon. Now, I don't know because they haven't said, you know, if there was some inappropriate touching or inappropriate, you know, conduct going on, if she touched him or did something to him. They haven't really said that. So obviously that's going to be a big part of it. You know, even though sending pictures and videos and texting and all of that stuff that she did is wrong and weird by herself, but you know it's a different level when you know it becomes sexual. So I don't know on that standpoint if that was going on or not. But yeah, so it's a crazy story and a crazy situation for sure. And it's be crazy how this stuff goes on. Like, and it does need to be looked at more, you know, when women do it, because you like, you know, like some stuff like this not the first time, and there's probably more stuff going on like this. And then, like I said, I don't know the woman, but she obviously like something is wrong. Like she got some weird fetish, or she thought that this 10-year-old was handsome, and you know, like it's just weird for you to do this. But then she bold enough, and then this is another thing, is that how are you that bold that you bold enough to put your face as this kid's screensaver? Like you think his mama not gonna ever check his phone or never look at his phone? Like you didn't think that far? Like I don't know what she was actually, you know, thinking. Like to me, that's the dumb part in all of this. Like she, you know, like she was just doing too much, obviously, you know, to be doing all this, then talking about buying them stuff. Like, why are you trying to bribe a 10-year? Like, it just, the story is just all around crazy to me. But the points I want to take for this is that, I hope it's not that bad in Georgia to where y'all got to start going for kids and teenagers, the women. I hope it ain't that bad for y'all, and it ain't that many gay men and, you know, messed up men in Georgia to where you had to do this. Two, yes, women need to start facing the same problems that men have. Like, you know, stop the double standard and let it be fair. Even though as men and boys, we know we would have liked that, you know, but then, like they said, also at 10 years old, because I remember when I was 10, I'm not sure if I was 10. I might have been like 7 or 8 when I was like, you know, had my little crush and we was talking about kissing and stuff. And I never forget after school we was supposed to kiss. We were supposed to kiss, and I ended up running. I ran home from school so I wouldn't have to kiss her because I was scared. And then, you know, back then, like it was the old girls got cooties or whatever that was called. Like, you know, like that was big when I was like 7, 8 years old and stuff. So I was scared to kiss her and talk to girls. At 10, I can't really remember, but I know I wasn't dating no girl. Like I didn't really become interested in girls to like middle school, like 7, 8 grade. And then I didn't, of course, have like my first official girlfriend and start having sex to high school. So at 10, it is like I get it, you don't fully know what's going on. So that's why it is a problem. And like I said, she crazy for talking to a 10-year-old and doing all of this. But so yeah, I could get it from that standpoint because like the mom said that he's confused and don't know what's going on. I can understand that at 10, you don't know what's going on. You don't know what a relationship is. You don't know what dating is. You don't know, like you don't know about none of this type of stuff. So, you know, it's just, you know, kind of crazy to you. And then I think at 10 though, you do start to like notice girls and like see them attractive because I never forget I did. And I always think about this story. I was in 5th grade, so 5th grade is like 10 years old. So one of my boys, his mom, we used to go over there play the game and stuff like that. And still to this day, like for whatever reason, I knew that his mom looked good and was thick. Like even back then and to this day, like I noticed, like I remember that. But she used to like always smile at me and flirt at me and, you know, put her hand on me and stuff like that. And I just didn't know what to do or how to react. But of course, now that I'm older, I realized like, oh yeah, she was on some, you know, she was on some funny stuff for sure. Because the stuff that she was doing, I still can remember in my head, but I just didn't know what it meant, you know, at 10 years old. But when as I got older, I started to realize like, oh yeah, his mom, like the way she was smiling and rubbing on me and, you know, being a little bit too extra nice, yeah, Yeah, it was kind of weird, for sure, for sure. So y'all gotta, so this stuff do goes on, like, and it needs to be looked at more, like, women grooming little boys and, you know, having that weird fantasies, like it's not exclusive to men. So, and that's what men always be saying is that women don't get looked at as the same as men. Men is always looked at as horrible and bad people when it's not always like that. Sometimes that, women, we all human. So if a man can have a negative trait, a woman can too. Like we just got to remember that. But yeah, I ain't gonna make this video too long. The video basically self-explanatory. I'm gonna try to get an update on this story and see what's going on, see if she did get arrested or if anything happened or if they ended up saying something. Because obviously the mom is serious. She's serious enough to put her face on the news and to be on the news and say something. So obviously she's serious about the situation. And like I said, I don't know her situation to where a 10-year-old still has to be in daycare. um, I don't know, but maybe she's a single mother 9 times out of 10, probably is, sad to say. And because you didn't see no dad around, and then if there was a dad, I don't understand how the dad can watch him. And like y'all both, like it just wouldn't have made sense if there was a dad in the picture and if they were still together. It just wouldn't have made sense. So maybe it's that. And that goes to show even more about the fathers being in the household because the dad would have handled this and, seen this coming also. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Yeah, it is a crazy story for sure. I'm gonna see if there's an update. And if there is, I'm gonna put it in the description, under the video where y'all can read. If there's not an update, then obviously it won't be there. But then I'm still gonna check on this story and tell y'all what happened. But I doubt anything serious. At most, the most that's gonna happen to her, I promise you, is that she get fired. That's the most. She's not gonna go to jail unless, like I said, it comes out that there was some sexual stuff going on, then maybe she will go to jail. But if it's just text messages and all this type of stuff, they not. She'll be lucky to get, we'll be lucky to see her get probation. But at most, she might just get fired. So that's it. Y'all tell me what y'all think.